Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm Steve Leahy. How are you all doing? I thought I was having some technical difficulties, but I see people jumping in. YouTube changed something on their back end side, which is weird. Back end side? Their butt side. Anyway, yeah, that's fun. But anyway, I could see you guys jumping in, so that's great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. First and foremost, before we go on, you'll notice that there is a poll. Tonight I'm going to let you guys choose what to do since I'm pretty much caught up. I can't get going on the new projects yet. So you guys can decide what we do tonight. We're just going to hang out and paint a little bit, and yeah, it'll be fun. So you can choose from that turkey painting. I'm almost done with that. That is already been spoken for. So there's that. And then we can also do the dollar bill painting. So I am up for either one. But yeah, that's what we got. So my super thanks go to Gary Shees last week. He was kind enough to throw a super thanks in. I thought I went through them all. If I missed someone, please let me know. But he is the guy I saw. Other than that, that's really all we have for new stuff going on. It is the week of the holiday. Programming should be pretty much the same. Wednesday is Christmas Eve. I will still have the open studio video up. And I'm thinking it might be fun, to still do the premiere for those people who aren't Christmassy. So I will still be doing that. And that's it. The time-lapse video will go up tomorrow and everything, and that's fun. All right. So yeah, so let's look at a few things. And then I have 3 new paintings for you. We'll do that. And then, yeah, that's what we got. All right, let me switch over. All right. First, before I do that, though, I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with this so I can see you a little bit easier and say hello to everyone. I don't know why that doesn't work. It wasn't the tablet. My other tablet's pretty much dead, which is sad. Why don't I close all that out? Yeah, that's what I'll do. Sorry, I want to be able to see your messages there. So sometimes when, I don't know if you've noticed, if I'm waiting on YouTube, like someone's YouTube channel for their lives to start, and I have to refresh the whole thing. So now I got it. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, so many people. Mark, what's up, buddy? Hello, honey. Yay, honey. I haven't forgot your cherry painting. I should show you guys that. It's on the other side. I should go grab it. I may do that for the break. Swamp, what's up? What's happening? Mike Stevenson, there you go. Mike Stevenson's here. Mike is responsible for the turkey painting. That's his painting. Dan Mayer, hello. Ian, what's going on? Is that poll showing up for you guys? Yeah, it is. Sure is. Okay, good. Where did I leave off? Ian Hart, what's happening? Adam, what's going on? Mr. O'Malley, what's happening? And Chris Garcia, cheers, buddy. I have a good cheers for today. Brian Moore, hello. What's up, Brian? Auntie Paula, Merry Christmas, Auntie Paula. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm super homesick right now. What else we got here? There's Gary. Hey, Gary, what's up? Yeah, buddy, there's Mr. Cheese Grits and NyQuil. Hello. And Sean, what's happening? I think I'm caught up. So for those who are just joining, you'll notice that poll. That's going to determine what we're going to do tonight. I want to get going on both of those. So that's good. So that's that. Let me show you real quick this. So this is the cardinal painting. And let me switch to this camera. This is all done now. And that, let me get a little bit of light on it, since it's all shiny and cleared. But that's how the little cardinal came out. It's a little bit brighter than it really is because of the exposure. Well, I suppose I could fix that, can't I? There we go. That's more what it really looks like. But that's how it came out. Super, super cool. I used UVLS gloss clear on it, which is nice. So that's how that guy came out. I was super happy with that. Okay, so that's that. What else I got to show you? I'm getting ready to get going on the pack lock. This is the lock that Cheese Grits sent me. So we're going to be painting on this. I'm going to be painting on all 4 sides of this. And I have a kind of a cool idea for it. So it'll mainly be on the back side here because that's the biggest amount of real estate. But the painting will go all the way around, and I'm going to obviously leave the engraved pack lock and all that. So this will actually be the back of the painting. But it'll still read, if you leave it like this, it'll still be cool. But the actual painting will be on this side. And that's going to be fun. So I'll fill you in on this as I get closer. I'm working on the drawing right now for it. And then as soon as that's done, I'll be ready to go. Holy crow, honey. Thank you so much. Rhea, thank you. You guys. Oh, I'm going to cry. Wait, there's someone else. Oh, Brian, thank you. You guys are the best. Aw. Thank you so much. Holy smoke. Man, I'm speechless. Other fun stuff that's going on. Oh yeah, you guys saw it. So that's how the Creepy Santa came out. Thanks to Cheese Grits' suggestion for the UV light. That was a blast. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this, so I'm going to say this. If you win tonight and you would like this, you can choose this too, or you can choose a 543. Other than that, I don't know. What else we got? One last quick thing. So here is, if you guys have been hanging out with me on Wednesday night, here is where I'm at with the Tokyo painting, and it is getting there. It's really, really close to being done, which I'm excited for. So the other real cool thing that I've been working on too is I show you guys the wood. The frame for this guy is all built now. It just needs to be, I need to finish sanding it, and I need to put the oil on it. But that's how that looks. This is Japanese cedar, so it goes really well, with the whole Tokyo story. So that's what that's looking like. And again, the last episode will be all about, how I framed it and all that fun stuff. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get going. We'll look at the 543s, and then I'll close out the poll and see where we're at. That'll give people plenty of time to get their bids in. Tonight's cheers comes from the beautiful city of Akron, Ohio, and this is Thirsty Dog Brewing. They're right in Akron, and this is their 12 Dogs of Christmas Ale, which is lovely. What else we got? Rob Sire, what's up? Grouchy Lenny, what's happening? What else we got? Michael McClung, what's going on? And Rhea, I think I said hello, and huge thank you for the super thanks. That's amazing. You guys are great. All right, if you haven't won yet this year, you have 2 more chances this week and next week. I will definitely be here next week too. So do what Adam did, where he typed 543 and then Stripe from the original Gremlins. You don't have to do Stripe from the original Gremlins, but type 543 and then give me a suggestion for one of these black and white paintings that I'm just about to show you. If you do that and you have not won yet this year, you can possibly win a painting next week or the week after. And then once the new year hits, the list is reset, so you can still win, but everyone who's made suggestions, it gets put back on the list. So the list becomes very large at the beginning of the year. So that's how that goes. All right, so let's do it. The first suggestion comes from Grouchy Lenny. Grouchy last week asked for Archer Battle Mech, and this is what I got for that. Now, I'm such a nerd. He hit it right on the head. I love this. I love Mech Warrior, the game, but BattleTech, it was the original 1984 tabletop game, and it was a war game that was created by Jordan Weissman and L. Ross Babcock. And the game was set in the future, and it featured these 40-foot tall armored combat units. The game has been going on strong ever since. It's become video games with Mech Warrior, which I love to play a lot. It's probably my most played PS5 game. And it's also expanded into books and an animated series and all kinds of stuff. So this is my little Archer, and he is number 543, so you can catch that. So there you go. So that's it. And it was explained to me very well too about the whole BattleTech thing. Like I knew Mech Warrior before I knew BattleTech. And the way it was described to me is like BattleTech is like the universe, like the Marvel universe, and like Mech Warrior is like a Thor movie. You know, it's a bit of that. So there you go. Yeah, I had fun doing that. It took way too long. Way too long. And that one's just called Archer. So there you go. All right. The next one, where is he? He's usually on. So your friend and mine, W. Scott King III, or just Scott to you and me, has been asking for this for a while. And what he asks for is mitosis. So how do you do a painting of mitosis? Like this. So this is mitosis. Before I get into mitosis, you can't really, well, hopefully you can see it. The background is this pearl metallic green on white. So you can only see it from certain angles, and then I used like a transparent magenta on this. So it's really kind of an active painting for real. Alrighty then. Let's get this, make sure this is focused. There we go. So mitosis is basically the process where a single cell divides itself and creates a new cell. So its nucleus and genetic material split off and they form two genetically identical daughter cells. So this copying is great because it includes any copying errors which might happen, which is what mutations are. And some mutations, most mutations are just not, they don't do anything. Some mutations are negative, and some mutations are positive, or they add fitness to the cell, which means they're just able to survive a little bit better. And that's how we get new things. That's how we evolve, which is kind of cool. So anyway, mitosis is broken into really three different sections, or three separate steps. And I chose the last step here, which is this shows the telophase, where the two nuclei kind of form these separate sets as they pull apart the chromosomes, and you can see those little strands between them. So that is what I did, and I had a blast doing this. I'm a total nerd. I just enjoy this kind of stuff like crazy. I did check with my stepdaughter Lachlan, who's going to school for genetics, and she confirmed the painting was okay, so that's good. So that's mitosis, and that is obviously a 543C. Look at all the 543 suggestions. You guys are awesome. Oh, thanks, Ria. Just curious, which was your 500? Oh my gosh, honey, that's a great question. I could probably figure that out. I've been horrible. Like, I know what the very first 543 was, and I know when I did it and everything, but I've been keeping track, but I haven't really been keeping track. So there could be an argument for that, because it's also when it was created. Like, you know, I do 3 to 5 a week, so it would be which one, and I don't know that I could remember the order that I painted them in that given week, but I could get close. All right, I did only do 3 because it's been crazy and I didn't get a chance to do 5 this week, and next week will probably be the same, but we'll see. So this is another great one that this particular person's been asking for a while, so I did it. The Red-Headed Artist, our own Patty C, last week and a couple of weeks before has been asking for the Chicago Bears logo. That's what I got. That's my Bears. There is a mistake in this, which I will fix before someone gets this, but I forgot the other highlight in his other eye, in this eye here. There's a highlight there that I didn't get. But anyway, I got most of it. Thanks to Gerald Mendez for the cool stencil in the background too. Gosh, what can I tell you? The Chicago Bears franchise was founded in September of 1919. The Bears won 9 NFL championships before the AFL and the NFL merged, and they have won 1 Super Bowl since. They currently stand in first place in the NFC North with a record of 11-4, having clinched their playoff spot, but in an overtime win against the Green Bay Packers. So to all my lovely Wisconsin friends, I'm definitely sorry, but it was fun to do. So there you go. So this one is tomorrow's time-lapse video, and what's nice about this one is I used a lot of mask for this one. So you kind of get to see how I put it together with the adhesive masks too, something I don't usually do a whole bunch of. So there you go. So that is your Chicago Bears logo, and that one's just called the Bears. So there you go. So there's all 3. That's what we got. So if you win tonight, as I so often say, congratulations, you win. And you could choose one of these three, or I will even not throw in, but you can choose the Creepy Santa if you want that instead. There's Creepy Santa. So you can choose that one if you want. And then if Creepy Santa doesn't go, I don't know. I keep saying it. I don't know what I'll do with it. It's too good not to, do something with it. But anyway, there you go. All right, so let's see. I'm going to close out the poll and see where we're at. Oh, it's so close. All right, I'll give you 30 more seconds if anyone wants to jump in. But I see the winner. All right, we'll put these away. Creepy Santa. Creepy Santa is cleared. I decided not to do the satin clear on him just because it looked really cool. Just kind of that way. So anyway, Creepy Santa. Now let's go do the poll and see what we got. What? No. I can't end the poll there because it's exactly 50-50. I love you guys. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll work on both. All right, I'm ending the poll. You guys are amazing. 22 votes, 50-50. Oh. All right, working on the turkey first since that's the easiest to set up for because it fits on the board this way. So let me go grab the turkey. I should have had it, but I wasn't sure what we were going to pick. So there you go. It's right here. It's just right here. La, 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 la. All right. And I'll remember to put the microphone on again too, because I usually do that. So there's turkey. Grouch, what's up? What's turkey stuffed with dollar bills? That's not a bad idea. All right, so here's the turkey. That's how that's coming out. It's exactly where it was when we left off. So we're just gonna pick up. And I do want to get this done, especially now that it's going to Mike. So Ian, I said hello, right, Ian? I hope I did. Who else jumped on that I missed? I got everyone. Todd, what's up? Hello, Todd. And there's Scott. Merry Christmas, Scott. It's the time of year. All right. Oh, real quick, since I was over there and I grabbed it. This is still not finished, like completed yet. Breaking stuff. But this is how the frame is coming out for Honeys. So this, I'm trying some new things. I was inspired by, there's a great artist named Gary Irby, New York artist, and he builds the most elaborate frames for his paintings. His paintings are huge, but he builds these like inset things, and I wanted to try this. So when Honey bought the painting, I was in the process of making a frame anyway, so I decided to make the same style of frame for Honey's painting. So she's not, this is on me, but it gives me a chance to kind of practice on some of it. But what's going to happen is the painting kind of floats in the middle of this inset box like this, but yet there's, it gives it a lot of, it gives it a lot of like mass, the painting, even though it's a thin painting on a board, it's going to feel like it's, much more substantial. So that's kind of what's coming. I just have to literally put it together now. So that's Honey's painting. We're working on turkeys. We'll work on turkeys for a little while, then we'll switch to dollar bills, and then we'll do the giveaway. Yeah, honey, I hope you like it. I mean, it's fun when I do that kind of stuff. Usually it's on a painting like that, because it gives me a chance to kind of mess around with a few things, so it was a little less pressure, that it's not, like a $6 zillion painting. Excuse me. Hold on, I'm gonna mute for a second while I die. Oh my gosh, that beer went right into my lungs. So don't do that. That's not fun. Oh my God. I need to mention to frame display wood. Yes, so this is easy, Mike. This is 6 by 8. Oops, yeah, I'm clumsy tonight. Yeah, 6 by 8 inches for this one. Excuse me. Oh my God, that hurt. And Mike, this is on a 1/8 inch board too. So, you can float it. There's not a whole lot of clearance here. I was going to float it in its frame, which means, there's just a little bit of a gap around it. I don't have a floater frame right now. They're all away. Oh, I know, honey. Unfortunately, no one's ever choked to death on beer, so it just went right into my lungs. All right, so let's get the camera closer. I'll do all kinds of fun stuff, and we'll work on this for a little while, and then we'll jump to the Bills. Not the New York Bills, the Buffalo Bills. All right, it's these Bills. All right. Done a lot of birds, which is fine. Which is fun. All right, so we need this focused. Yeah, we're just going to work on finishing this up. Enzo, what's up? There we go. You guys are amazing. You guys are so cool. Thank you. So there we go. And make sure we're focused. All right. Yeah, what I think I'm going to do is, since I've already got all the underpainting, so we did this part here for that underpainting thing. I may darken this a little bit because it's a lot of light. So the idea is, to put, here's the reference photo that I'm using. So the idea is to put all these colors in first. See all those oranges and the blues behind here? It's almost like the details stand on top of all that. And that's the idea of an underpainting, to kind of give you that base. So you're not painting all the details and then have to go in and paint all the other stuff. All that's already in. So what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to keep sketching with the airbrush to start. And then we'll tighten it up a little bit with paintbrush too. And I'm going to keep a lookout for your comments too. And I'm going to try not to choke on beverages. That would be nice. Oy, 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 oy. So the other thing I didn't bring over too, I have a hockey helmet, that a goalie mask, which I'm going to be messing around with as well. That's going to be a project that's probably not going to get too much airtime, just because it's difficult to, I should have the helmet rig for the Vision Air, because they sell one. It would be amazing. But I don't own that, and by the time I ordered it, I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. But in any event, it's a difficult one to show live. But I will try a little bit to see what we can do. Because it's going to be fun. That's a super detailed thing. There's lots and lots of type on it. And it's going to be a fun painting to do. All right. I'm going to start on his chest. So I'm going to continue with what I was doing. So I've got just a light drawing. What is going on there? Aw. I see you, Knight. Mike Manning. Thank you for telling me you're Mike Manning, because they changed all the names. Mike, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Yeah, with the new names and everything in YouTube, I'm totally lost on some of them. This is just opaque black, straight out of the bottle, and then reduced. So I used the 4021 reducer, and this is heavily reduced. So this is 10 parts reducer to 1 part paint. Really, really heavily reduced. And this is what allows me to get like really fine, tight details, but also like really, really soft spray as well, like just for blending and that kind of thing. Again, I talk about this all the time too. When you over-reduce paint like this, it limits its ability to stick. Although what I'm doing right now is I'm painting on that blue right there. That's tough for you guys to see because I've got this kind of bright and washed out. But there's blue paint on there. So as long as I'm painting on paint, this stuff will be fine, because there'll be a clear coat put on the end of it that will kind of melt it all together, and it's ready to go. So I'm not worried about adhesion. Plus, these layers are so thin and so delicate that the clear will just kind of be a part of it. It'll just push through it. And then if I do get it up to saturation, then I've got enough paint on it to not worry about anyway. Oh, rear the helmet? Yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a shot to see if I can, make something work. Like I said, a lot of it is it's for my cousin Jay, and a lot of the things that he's having me put on this are logos and text. So it's an interesting project. It's not something you would normally see on a helmet because they're usually really flashy. But this is going to be, it's going to be very neat. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a helmet like it. And it's going to be cool. It's kind of like the way he kind of gave me the information. It's really a history of his hockey, his love for hockey, the what he's done between, his playing in high school all the way up through right now. He's older than I am. He's one of my he's the oldest sibling in that family. He's the eldest brother, and but yet he still plays in an adult league now, and it's still a huge part of his life. And what's nice is that the information he gave me kind of chronicled all of that, which is really neat. So it's going to be a challenge to kind of get all the information in there, but and make it look good too, not just have look like it's covered in stickers. So yeah, I will keep you guys all in the loop as that goes. Rick. Oh, there's Sean. Hello, Sean. I saw Honey say hello, Rick. So hello, Rick. I missed all that. Yeah, I'm bummed. My little tablet finally decided that it wasn't going to take any more of my abuse. My little Samsung tablet. So now I've got I have the iPad, which I was reluctant to use here in the art studio because, it gets covered in paint and all that fun stuff. But it's here, so I just got to be good. I got to make sure I don't get paint on it and take care of it. But oh, there's Wink. What's up, bud? Sir William. I love it. So for my Massachusetts friends and family, well, my family already knows I'm going to end up being here for Christmas. So, but I am planning on heading to New England in January. So Wink, if hopefully you're around, I'll let everyone know. It looks like the end of January I'll be shooting over there. I would love to make sure I stop at Createx, which is always fun. See all my buddies there. So in a way, it's going to be nice kind of going back home, not around a holiday, because then I will be able to stop in and Createx, where if it's a holiday, usually I'm just trying to get there, so we can get stuff done. So that's good. I'm happy about that, but I am missing everyone at Christmas time. I come from a half Irish, half Italian family, and the Italian side does a big Christmas Eve thing every year at the house I grew up in, my mom's house. So they'll all be there doing their thing, and I am gonna miss them. So I try to hit them up on FaceTime or Facebook's whatever they call it, their video call. So hopefully get to see everyone. So you get the idea what I'm doing here. So I've already got the pencil drawing in, and this is where airbrush is most like pencil drawing. I'm just kind of sketching in with it lightly and then darkening as I go. So it's nice. I'm not trying to get the detail right out of the gate. I just kind of get it in generally, and then as I want to sharpen something up, I get closer to the edge. And, I'm using less and less paint the closer I get. And that's how you get those real sharp, tight edges. Obviously, I want to, keep the blue so you can see the blue. But that's the other thing, too. Now I don't have to put any of this blue in. Now I can add more blue, which I will. But I don't have to spray this out blue to get it to change over now. It's got it all going on. A vintage Model A. That's awesome. Did I have a Junior? I thought I had a Pache. I thought I had a Junior. I owned a Turbo for a very short time. I wish I had kept it, but I ended up not, and I don't know why I didn't just keep it. It's weird. Like any of those things, even the airbrushes that I've gotten that I've been like, oh yeah, it's cool, I'll get it, and then I don't really, it's not really for me. I still have them, but I don't know why I don't have the Turbo anymore. But anyway, Pache Turbo it was an icon in the 80s and 70s, and earlier than that, but mostly, during the 70s and 80s. It was the airbrush for detail. It was like, if you could master that brush, you were the king of airbrushing. And it was finicky, and it was hard to maintain, and it was a crazy brush, but it worked really, really well for what it was designed to do. They discontinued it because it is so complex, and there were, brushes like internal mix brushes like this one, like the Micron. They weren't, I don't think Pache was selling very many of the Turbos anymore because it was a hard brush to maintain, where this brush will do the same job the Turbo did, but without the headaches, And it wasn't that the Turbo was bad. It was brilliant for what it was, and it'd come out a long time ago. It was just completely innovative while still going back to, the original roots of the airbrush. It was set up like one of the very first airbrushes, but just crazy refined. So as technology increased and manufacturing got better and better, you just didn't need that brush anymore because the other brushes had caught up to it in ability. So I think that was kind of the death knell for the Turbo. So I wish I could show you, but I don't have one. It's just a bummer. I should just buy one. You can still buy them used. Look at all the 543 suggestions. Halfway to showtime. Perfect, honey. I'm going to go a little bit, and what we'll do is after the giveaway, I'll jump to the dollar bill painting. Or, since there was even interest in the dollar bill painting, why don't we do this? Let's work on the turkey tonight, and then I'll work on the dollar bill painting next week, because there's some stuff I want to show you with the bill painting that I won't be able to kind of pull together tonight because I wasn't prepared for that. Which is like I have older pictures of the other version of that painting that I started, so I'll have all those ready to go for you for next week, and that'll be a nice New Year's kind of painting. So we go into 26 thinking of prosperity and a couple dollar bills. Yeah, that'll be a little bit easier than trying to break everything down and then just do the swap. So we'll keep working on turkey tonight, and we'll do dollar bill next week. And I think I've mentioned this before too. This type of, like when I get into doing this type of painting, make sure you can see everything. Yeah. Where it's just kind of freehand and I'm just kind of rolling around the painting and sketching in. This is such a nice break. As much as I'm enjoying the Tokyo painting, that's so nitpicky, and it's fun. It is. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it, but to be able to just kind of like freehand and just kind of run around a painting, this is really, really relaxing for me. Like I said, it's the most like drawing that the airbrush gets, which is great, and it has a really nice look to it too. Again, I'm not one of those people that are like, if you used anything but an airbrush, then you're cheating or it's not as good, or I'm definitely not in that freehand is the way to go camp. I'm definitely more of a whatever gets the job done type of thing. In fact, I just found a new YouTube channel, thanks to YouTube for actually suggesting something that I might be interested in instead of a bunch of weird garbage. But I just found this wood carver, and I used to go to all the wood carving shows in New England. When I was working for Bear Air, I would go and set up a booth there and airbrush, and because a lot of the wood carvers were getting into airbrushing too, and so I would go to these shows, and I was really interested in it because I really love woodworking and that kind of thing, and these guys were amazing. And so anyway, so I found this wood carver, and he was painting a decoy duck, no airbrush, just painting, his with paintbrushes and stuff, and I don't even know if he ever uses an airbrush. But it was fun to watch his paintbrush techniques. And yeah, I'm not going to be painting decoys that I know of. However, I got a lot out of it. I got a lot out of what he was doing, and I could see how I could use those same techniques in my painting, even though he was doing duck decoys, for doing feathers. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. He's just working on a three-dimensional surface, trying to make them look like real feathers. So I was getting some really cool tips. And also, I don't know if she's here. Usually she jumps in. Diesel, what's up? Diesel? Yeah, E-Diesel, right? No, I'm going to call you E-Diesel from now on. But it's Eddie? Edie? I don't know. Shannon Morrison, what's up? There we go. All right, I'll call you Edie. We'll do that. And if I'm wrong, I'll call you Wick. Or if you tell me what you want me to call you. Welcome. Anyway, Patty, if you're not following Patty, the Redhead Artist LLC on YouTube, she just did a really nice video thanking some people she follows online, and I'm one of them, and I'm super grateful. So, but she has another watercolorist on there that. Same thing. It's like, I watch her stuff and I'm like, that's great. I can use that technique. And Patty mentions it over and over again in that video. It's like, even if it's not exactly what you do, if you keep an open mind, you'll learn new techniques. And I've said it before, that's where your innovation is going to come from, because you're going to grab something from someone else that's not even related to your field, or the style of art that you do. You're going to incorporate that in what you do, and no one else would have done that because it's not something that people think of. So yeah. So keep your mind open. And keep your heart open, because love will find a way. All right, so there's points if anyone knows what that song is. It's all right. Don't be afraid, because it's all right. All right, I'm going to stop now. Burbs, turkeys. What are you going to do? All right, there's a big, this little bit of his feather here, this little thing is really white. Love, bah humbug. I know, honey. But it is a good song. Well, it's a good song if you're, 70s, 80s-ish kind of person. Bonus points if you know when that song came out. I'm guessing like late 70s, so that might give you a hint. Oh, what are you painting? Oh, I'm sorry. I should show you because you can't see it. Excellent. For the people who are just joining us, I've been working on this turkey painting. Actually, I think I started it last Thanksgiving. It was our turkey painting. I worked on a little bit more this year. The idea, the inspiration behind this painting was I had seen a lot of John Audubon. So most people know the Audubon Foundation and all that, but John Audubon was a fantastic artist. And so I've seen a lot of his prints and a lot of his work, and I was inspired. Now, this isn't like his work at all. He was a much more illustrative type of artist. But I wanted something on the similar vein. So I wanted this kind of parchment feeling in the background, yet the turkey, and then I'm gonna handwrite, the scientific name of the turkey down here, which is up there, Melagris Gallopavo domesticus. So the domestic turkey. So that's what we're working on. Thank you for doing that, for mentioning it. Yeah. Oh, there's Patty. Yeah, yeah. Go follow Patty. The Patty. Thank you so much. You're crazy. That was awesome. I was honored. Now, this whole image was on this like kind of egg yolk color. So that's all underpainting too. All this stuff I'm doing here has that as the underpainting, which is kind of fun. And you can choose your underpainting to be congruent with what you're working on, or you can do something like the artist Niels Johnson does, where Niels will pick whatever color is complementary to what he's working on, which is crazy. So if he's painting trees, like green trees, the underpainting will be red. And he has to fight back from that, and it makes the most beautiful paintings. Like you don't see the red when he's done, maybe a little bit, like tiny flecks of it, but it's neat. It's like that underpainting does so much for the rest of the work. And it's something that's been done for a really, really, really long time in painting. Underpainting is so important. And like I said, when I was talking about this originally, the one thing I realized or found with my work originally was that it all felt super thin and washed out and all that. And the reason why is because I wasn't doing any kind of underpainting. I was painting on white surfaces all the time. So in order to build a color up, I would have to use that color and then mix other colors on top of it and all this stuff. So I had no advantage of an underpainting underneath to give me a boost. So everything felt watercolory and not watercolory in a good way. Who dat? Aw, thank you, Roberto. And Merry Christmas. Happy Crimble to you. There's a lot of colors going on in his the breast feathers here. I'm just going to kind of start this black area, these details, and then I'm going to work on the color a little bit too. And we'll do that right up until the break, and then we'll give away a painting, and then we'll just keep rocking on this. Ah, such a beautiful bird. I mean, in an ugly way, but it's I gravitate towards non pretty birds. Turkeys are a blast. Renaissance artists do that, green underpainting and flesh tones. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's it. And I mean, you could see that with modern day portrait artists too. One that comes to mind immediately is Harvey Dinnerstein. If you look at Dinnerstein's work, there's green in almost all of his portraits. Not like Kermit the Frog, like what's wrong with these people? They're sick, but just that little bit of, I don't know, that hint of that opposite of flesh color, that non-warm green that's just so nice. What else we got? I know, honey. That's my spirit animal. I'm sad no one either bought that or chose the turkey vultures for their very own. That's my spirit animal. So what I'm doing here is little tiny dagger strokes. So I'm just starting the paint flow on the shadowed edge of these feathers, and then just moving the airbrush this way, but then also turning the airbrush off, basically stopping the paint from flowing, but also kind of dive bombing in. So if you see it from the side, the stroke starts here, but then as I finish it, I'm getting closer to the surface like this. This is exaggerated, but it's pretty much what I'm doing. And that way it gives me a real soft kind of intro to the paint. It's really soft and fuzzy where it's in the shadow, and then it gets really sharp as it gets down to the end of it. So this is one of those foundational strokes that everyone, insists that you learn. And I also agree it's one of those strokes that you got to learn. But we talked about this on one of the other feeds. Well, you just worry about getting the fade stroke down, which is just turning that paint off in a controlled way. Don't worry about dive bombing it. The dagger stroke will come by itself. But it is super important because that's where you get all your detail from with the airbrush, is that dive bomb. They found him in bed sleeping like an old man. Like Grandpa and Charlie in the Chocolate Factory that spent 42 years in bed until he got a free pass to the chocolate factory, then he's fine. I have serious issues with his priorities. Why does YouTube keep changing my name? I have no idea why they did that. I don't know if it's like it's an area code thing. You know what I mean? Like when they only had, one or no area codes, and then cell phones popped up, and now they needed like 1 million new phone numbers. I don't know if that's what's going on with the naming, but if someone else has the real story, please, fill everyone in. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. It screwed up the point system pretty bad for me. So that's back to zero with trying to figure that out because everyone's name changed. I'm still keeping track, but now everyone has new names, and I'd have to, like go back in and manually change every single week in the spreadsheet. And I love you guys, but I'm not doing that. Jim, what's up? What's happening? Happy early Christmas. Yes. Oh, that's good. We eat Italian, not turkey buzzard. That's good. I love it. Oompa Loompas are good. I don't think I've ever done Oompa Loompas. Yes, and if you haven't won, make sure you type in 543 and give me a suggestion for one of those black and whites, because you can win. This week, or actually next week, is your last week with the reduced pile of people. Come January 1st, the first January feed, everyone will be back on the list. You can still certainly win, but your chances are much better next week than they will be all year. So get your suggestions in if you have not won. And again, I'm going to keep doing the giveaway until it doesn't make sense anymore. And I'll know it, I'll know when that is. It'll, just be, it'll just hopefully, be a situation where things got too big and it's too hard to keep track of, or, people are abusing it. But so far, everyone's been really, really great. All right, I think that's a good spot, because what we'll do is when we get back after the break, I'll add the blue to this and really finish this up. There's blue and then some scratching and stuff that's going to go on, which is a lot of fun too. All right, let's switch to this camera. So I won't switch that out because that would be, it's probably too much work. I want to do that. I will show you these paintings. All right, again, if you win tonight and you would like Creepy Santa from last week, you can choose that one. I will ship that out to you. Again, don't get your hopes up. It is literally a $1 ornament from Dollar Tree. It's the paint on it that's worth something. So, yeah. All right, the others. Where's Patty? I'll start with Patty. Patty's been suggesting this for a while. Patty asked for the Chicago Bears logo. You know what I'm going to do right now? Right now. No, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it right now. Switch here. No, I did. I screwed up on that. Not screwed up, but I left out a part. So I'm going to fix that for you guys right now. Let me just find the copy so I can get this in the right spot. Yeah, there's a little, and I just missed it. There's a little tiny highlight right in his eye right here, and I don't have that on here. And that bothers me. All right, what I need to do, though, for this, to do the repair, I need to use the Autoborn sealer, which is the background. I'll put a little bit of that out, and luckily this is a super easy thing to fix. Let's get a little paint there, make sure we get this in the right spot, and there we go. It's done. Now I gotta make sure I don't touch that and screw it all up. But there's Patty's Chicago Bears logo, and a little bit of extra with the Gerald Mendez template. So there we go. All right, and I will re-clear that too, so that it's cleared if someone does grab that. All right, so there's that one. That's the Bears. Next up is, where is it? Oh, and that the bears painting is also the time-lapse video this week. All right, our buddy Scott King last week asked for, or a couple weeks asked for mitosis. So this is the telophase of mitosis, one of the last stages of that. And you can see all those little tiny strands between the two nuclei, which is fun, and all the fun chromosome stuff going on. So that one's called mitosis. I know, shocker, an incredibly intuitive and interesting title. Ugh, they're all falling. They're all falling. It's fine. Everything's fine. More maggots. More maggots. All right. And then last but not least, Mr. Grouchy Lennon asked for the Archer from the Battletech or Mech Warrior. So that's my thing. I spent way too much time on, actually, yeah, I spent way too much time on that. I'll give you a preview of why I spent too much time on that. The stencils for that were pretty intense. Here's one of them. So it had a lot of cutouts on it. And that's not the only one. There was like 4 or 5 more of these that had similar type of like crazy cutouts. So yeah, I spent way too much time on that. But that's all right. That's fine. All right. Let me show you the list now. We had 4 people on the list, a 25% chance to win. And here we are. Grouchy Lenny is first. Our buddy Gorilla Air, Luke Thornton, and Airbrushed Barb. So there we go. Oh, there's Grouchy. I'm glad you like it. I did. I got approval from a future geneticist, which is great, that I did okay on it. So I'm happy. Happy with that. What are you going to look at? I know what you're going to look at. You're going to look at this. Yeah, you're going to look at this. Look at this. There we go. That's what you want to look at. All right. So your winner tonight is number 1, Grouchy Lenny. There you go, bud. So now you know the rules. I think you've been around long enough. Grouchy, if you want your painting, you can grab that, but you don't have to. You can grab whatever you want. So you can take any one of these 3. You can go on my website and look there if there's something there you like. You get first shot at these 3 though. So after the end of the feed, these 3 will go up on the site. Always remember that the 543s I do for the feed are always 50% off. So you can always get a discount on them, and that's just because it's easier for me to do them and kind of pick them, and that's it. Yeah, you get the Archer. Great. For some reason I was pointing at the mitosis one, but yeah, you got it. So that's yours. So this one won't go up on the site. Perfect. But the other 2, these 2 will go up, so you can do those. And yeah. All right. So what are we doing with the Santa? I don't know what we're doing with the Santa. I'll figure it out. Whatever. All right. That was quick. I love it. All right. One more week. If you haven't won, get in on it. Get in on it. Get it done. Oh, that's awesome, Grouchy. That's great. Oh, Luke, there you are. Another blue. Yeah, Luke, you've been asking for that. So that counts as like what I did with the mitosis. If you ask for something enough, I will eventually get that done. That's awesome. I love saying we have Adam, if your beard is sparkly yet green around the edges, oh dear. Exactly, Edie. Yeah, that was a good one. That was fun. If that was from last week, we had a good time with that and with the black light and everything. All right, let me show you the next step on this, and we'll finish up a bunch of these feathers here to kind of show you how that all comes together. It's a fun process, and it's like I said, even though it's not all painting, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on with it. Let me line this up so you guys can see what's going on. So the first step here, now this is still pretty soft, which is really fine for the painting. I'll back out again. It's okay if I were to leave this not really defined, because the head is so meticulously rendered with such like crazy like sharpness. It's okay if this part isn't as crazy because the focus is mostly on his head, and this is fading out down the bottom anyway. So I won't do like a ton of detail work along the edge, but I will put a bunch of stuff in on here. But I could get away with just not putting any down there, just to kind of flesh it out. So that's really like an artistic judgment call. Sure we're ready for that. There we go. But yeah, we're going to do it just because it's fun. So first thing I'm going to do is do a little bit of scratching. And I like to do this midway through the process because I like to cover this up or repaint over it so it's not so harsh, because this can be super harsh. This is as detailed as you can get with this painting. I mean, the brushes are really good, but not as sharp as what the knife can do. So with this, I'm going to add, the edges. I'm going to start adding a little bit of detail on the edges of these breast feathers. This is really white. I don't really know if that's the edge of a feather or not. So we're going to wait on that. I might do that in paint. It's a bigger area. But I don't know if you can pick this up, how harsh these little details are. And I don't want that. I want it to kind of blend in. I said this to someone who was talking about what I do and kind of what I use for tools, and I'll say it again. For me, I don't want someone to look at it and say, "Oh, use an airbrush," or that's paintbrush, or that's use a knife to scratch that out. I don't want that. I want people to just look at the stuff and say, "Oh, that's a turkey," So. The way I do that is by blending the tools together. Use one and then use something else over it and add to it and cover some of it and take it away. And you do that, and then you get this kind of more natural transition between the different tools. Because again, I don't want to be an X-Acto knife artist or an airbrush artist, or you know what I mean? I just want to be an artist. I want to tell a story with the stuff, and that's it. Oh, all right. So I know you guys are amazing, and we'll explain it, but I can do this for Edie real quick. So what's a 543 mean? So what those are the paintings I just showed you. These are 543 paintings, and they started a while ago, 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. They're 4 inches by 3 inches. I used to do 5 of them. I did 5 of them last week, but generally, I try to do at least 3. But that's how they got their name. So there are 5 of them, and there's the 4x3 paintings. And the Peanut Gallery, as you're seeing, they're the ones that make suggestions for them. And then what I do is everyone who makes a suggestion for one for the following week gets put into the pool to win one. So the next week, anyone who made a suggestion the previous week will be in the pool to win, and that's all they got to do. So whether I paint it or not, everyone who made a suggestion is still in the running. And then I use the random number generator and choose someone's name, and they win a painting. And that's how it is. It's easy. So the only other rule is you have to be here live to make your suggestion. You can't put in a suggestion after the fact, but you don't have to be here to win. If you can't make it the next week and you win, you still win. I make an announcement on my socials, and that's how that works. But that's it. It's just it's a cool way to have a really great interaction with everyone on the feed, and I get to get some great ideas for paintings. So that's all you got to do. And Edie, since you have not won, you are eligible next week if you make a suggestion. So there you go. And I know Luke is on the list, right? So Luke needs to win too. So, and some people, they'll go the whole year, and have to wait a while or whatever. But I guarantee, if you're here and you're regular, you will sooner or later get a painting. Just ask Ian. All right. So same thing. The leading edge. Oh, you can't see it. Blah, Steve. So the leading edge of these feathers that are kind of puffed out here on the side, I wish I knew the actual names of. After watching the duck guy today, there are names for all these different sections of the bird, and I know none of them, so I apologize for that. But the leading edge of these feathers here are really, start to become really bright. So I'm just kind of rolling in and scratching off the leading edge and giving them that highlight. I could paint it, but this gives me such a sharp clear, crisp line. And I can, since this is cleared down to the yolk color, that's the color that's going to pop up, which is nice when I scratch away. So it's kind of like doing scratch board. So again, it's a little bit of everything, you know, it's a little bit of this technique, a little bit of that, and whatever it is, you know, to make it work, you know. So I'm going to widen these up a little bit because they do have some body to them. Plus I want to make sure they're real smooth. So to widen them up, all I'm doing with the knife blade is when I start them, I have it, if this is the, well, let me give you some a little bit more vertical. So as I'm scratching, I'm pretty high up like this as I'm scratching. But then if I want a wider kind of scratch, then I can go a little bit low or lower. And then it puts more blade on the surface and it scratches off a little bit. I'm using almost no pressure. Chris, what's up? Who else did I miss? Paul, hello Paul. What's going on? All right. And, you know, if you guys know anyone who would enjoy the feed, and please feel free to pass it on. That's amazing. My goal is just, you know, keep this channel growing. And the way it grows the best is by you guys doing those things, you know, hitting that like button and suggesting it, or, you know, making a comment is huge. And you don't have to be a member. You know, obviously I would love it if, you know, you guys are members, but just supporting in the free way, that like and subscribe, and, you know, telling someone about it means the world to me. These are number 11 X-Acto blades too. There are so many X-Acto blades available, and I've seen people do some crazy great things with all of them, all the different shapes and styles, but I've always just used this shape, and that's how that works. All right, so there, I've lightened that up a little bit. Now I'm going to take a little bit of blue. I'll show you the reference photo real quick to show you. See how blue and gray those leading edges are? So that's coming up next. But before I do that, I'm going to soften these scratches up a little bit too. So I've still got the black in the brush. So now I can kind of come back in and like soften the back sides. What is going on there? Aw, honey, thank you. Honey, you're out of control. You're the best. So there you go. So now there's a bunch of new members. Thanks to Miss Honey. So with the airbrush, I can now go in here and like soften the edges. So say I hit one of those scratches too hard, you know, it just didn't, you know, I wasn't paying attention, or it kind of went off the wrong way. I can just kind of go in and erase it, you know, I could just kind of softly go over it. And I'm definitely doing that on the ends of these scratches to kind of tone them down a little bit. But you get the idea. You can do a lot with this. And this is, again, this is the back and forth between the tools that you know, it's not designed to show you what to do with a knife. It's designed to show you a turkey, you know? And remember to keep it really soft down the bottom. You guys are amazing. So I'm just going to kind of hit these a little bit before I do the blue on them, to give a little bit of softness to them. What also happens with this kind of technique where you're bouncing back and forth a lot, it makes it more difficult to make a mistake on it. Like, again, if I screwed up with the knife and went too hard on that, I know I can fix it, you know, and that's because I've been bouncing back and forth with the two tools, and I know, you know, what it's going to do to kind of straighten it out. So that's really nice, you know, it gives you a level of confidence that allows you to try new things, because you know that if it doesn't quite go the way you wanted it to go, you can fix it. You know, you didn't do anything that's like catastrophic that's going to like totally ruin it. Now, I say that, but sometimes it does go bad. But, you know, that's okay. Ah, the real one. What's up, real? Love it. You guys are great. All right, so blue. So now I got to put that blue in. I think that's, I'm going to use cobalt, I think, because I think that's what I was using before. Let's break out the infinity. I haven't used infinity in a while. The other brush I got to pull out again is the Grex. It's sitting there and I should be using it more because it's a great brush. But I don't have enough airbrush holders for all of them, which I should add a few more. Cobalt blue. So this is detailed cobalt blue from Createx. This bottle is ancient, so can't even read the number. I think it's 066 for detailed cobalt blue. Did I hear right? Is the detail line going away? I really got to get over to Createx. Or was it the, no, something with illustration line, right? Oh, I put the wrong stuff in it. Oh, well. Some with the illustration line was changing, I think. No more opaques or something, maybe? I don't know. I don't use the illustration line, so I'm not really keeping up on what's going on in that stuff. Oh, the Sada? Did you guys, how did you see that? It's on the wall here. Sada brushes are great. We could spend a whole feed on airbrushes. That's FB. This is Sada right here. Oh, you saw it through the, I don't know, maybe. So this is my Sodograph 2. It's got dust on it because I don't use it very often. This is Sodograph 2. The one thing I have a problem with is, as you could probably guess by all my other airbrushes, is the trigger. They tried this new thing, or they were trying this new thing. It's very like Pache-like, which is like a round dome trigger, which you would think would be a good idea, but it's got this really high dome, which digs into my finger. And this isn't a problem with the trigger, it's just the way I work. I'm always like really pushing down hard on the trigger. So it feels like it goes right through to the bone in my finger. So yeah, that was the first thing. The other thing I noticed about Sada was the action on them is very tough. It's very stiff, you know? So this is one of their detail brushes. This is the Graph 2. It's an impeccably made brush. I mean, it's great. And this cup just comes right off. So you can swap out the cup for it. I'm not a huge fan of removable cups, and this goes true with the, I'll show you in a second, the H&S as well. Because if you look down the bottom of that, see how small that opening is at the bottom of the cup? So yes, it's easier to clean because you can pull this out and just clean it out with a small brush. But it's, you know, I mean with like the other brushes, you can't see it because it's got black in it, but that's open down the bottom. You know, it's a much wider opening at the bottom. So I think that's easier to clean out. And again, that's personal preference. But my biggest thing with the Sadas was the trigger action. It was very, very stiff, you know. So I found I was getting fatigued. Plus, again, this trigger kills me. So that's my thing with the Graph 2. And I don't even know if they still make that brush. I've had that for years and years and years. Probably close to 20 years I've had that brush. Yeah, so Rob, I don't know. Oh, that's awesome, Michael. I love that. Bobby with them Patriots. Like, I'm not gonna get, you know, it's not gonna turn into a sports show, but yeah, they needed that win. I mean, they needed that win, and that was you know, that was a good comeback. And I don't care what anyone says about the Ravens right now. They are a good team. Yeah, they you know, they lost their quarterback and all that fun stuff, but no, they're still a good team, and it was a good win. All right, so this is cobalt blue. This is straight up cobalt blue. I would, if this was going on anything else, I would probably, sorry, it's really blurry. There we go. I'd probably add a little bit of something to this, but because I've already got so much black on there, I'm just going to go really lightly. Now this is reduced, but it also has 4050 in it, which is the transparent UVLS clear. So that helps that stay really smooth. Like I don't get like two things. It's real transparent now. You can see how bright that is in there. It's real transparent, but it also goes on really, really smoothly because of that clear. It just helps the way it flows. And there's a lot more blue on here, so I'm going to kind of go over that too. Now, this is also kind of cool with those scratches. They're underneath now really 2 layers of paint. There's the little work I did with the black to soften the ends of them, but now I've gone over them again with the blue. So now they're really tucked in there. They just become little details on the leading edge of those feathers. They're not scratch marks anymore, you know? So I hope all that makes sense. That's probably too much blue, but that's okay. All right, what else can we do here? Oh, there's more blue on that too. Yeah, actually there is. So I'll show you something else the airbrush does really, really well. So this blue is too green. You know, the cobalt blue is great, but it also has a lot of a green feel to it. So with the airbrush, it's super easy to adjust stuff. So I feel like I have a little bit too much green in that. So instead of having to paint over that whole thing with a new color, I can literally take a little bit of red and go over that and kill that green. And it'll do 2 things. One, I'll show you the reference photo again real quick. The blue in that has kind of a violet-y feel to it. Let me show you. Because what's happening is it's the sky reflecting off these upturned feathers. So it's got a little bit more maroon in it than mine. Mine are really greenish. So using the red will do 2 things. It'll kill the green, but it'll also push it more towards the maroon. What a maroon. So I'm going to grab, what am I going to do? Do I want Pyro? Pyro's pretty tough. Yeah, we'll do Pyro just to kind of illustrate the point. Pyro red, the new opaque red, is a very red. It's very, very red. So if I were to just put a drop in the airbrush and started spraying, I would blow this thing up. It would turn red. So what I want to do is, again, I want to add a little bit of the 4050, which is the clear UVLS from Createx. Same product. Just think of it like clear paint. So I get a little bit of that, a little bit of reducer in there, and then I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that red. Just a little bit on the end of a paintbrush, and I'm just going to mix it in there. And that'll give me, it looks real milky pink. I can't really see it, but there it is down there. Looks kind of a milky pinkish color. But that's because of the binder and all that other stuff. And I've got this, you know, so transparent now. But I want that. Again, I'm looking for control. So this is red. And now I can do, this is what the airbrush does so well. I can kind of be back about an inch from this. And I can just really lightly start to spray some red over that blue. And it's really slow. Like I can go as slow as I want. So I spray a few times, lean back and look at it. Still feels a little bit green. So we're going to kind of tuck in, not on the leading edges because those leading edges are lighter colored. So they're going to kind of, if I keep spraying the red over them because they're more white, you know, they have more light color in them, they'll turn red if I'm not careful. So I just want to get rid of that underlying greenish color. So I'm just going to kind of pick and choose the edges a little bit where the blue is a little bit softer and not as sharp. And I'm just going to kind of roll over with this really thin red. And that will give me that maroon, and it'll also kind of kill that greenish color. And the same thing here, I'll kind of put in red, but I'm going to put it in little stripes so that I'm not just like hosing the thing down, and it'll make that color much more complex and realistic. I'm not paying attention to comments, sorry. We'll get there though. Yeah, I feel good about that. Now I'll look at comments. All right, have a great night, Grumpy. Grouchy, there we go, Grumpy. Grumpy Lennon. Grouchy, send me in a private message, send me your shipping address, and I will get that out. That won't go out till after the holiday, though, because of the craziness. But I will get that out to you. Congratulations, Grouchy. Yay. Oh, that's going to be great, Rob. Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Temu brushes. That's cool. Jammer, what's up? Team Finance and Money so broke. Jammer, as long as it's working for you, that's all that counts. The problem with the really super inexpensive airbrushes is the people buy them sometimes thinking they're going to work like great airbrushes. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they just don't. So if you're just doing them to get by, to get them to work, then do it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, just, I mean, it's the people that buy them and then get so frustrated that, they see people doing stuff like what I'm doing here with these like tiny little lines. And, those brushes aren't always made for that. They're just made to kind of be inexpensive and get the job done. So, yeah, there you go. I'm happy with that. All right, so basically it's that, but everywhere. You just do that everywhere. I'm going to back this out so you get kind of a, well, I shall not take you on the ride for that because it can be disjointed as far as your craziness flying around. So, all right, let's do this. There we go. So that's how it's looking so far. It's going to take me about, I'd say to finish this up, it's going to take me about 2 to 3 hours to do his back, the cape, right on the back of his, and to bring these breast feathers out a little bit more. So I got to do that. So I'm looking at about 3 more hours on this. Then what happens is I'll clear it with Autoborn Sealer, just a transparent. It's a really clear, hard sealer that they sell. So that'll make this thing bulletproof. So then what I'll do is I'm going to handwrite like again like Autobahn. I'm going to handwrite the taxonomical name here, and then if it looks good, then I'm going to just clear the whole thing and call it a day. If it doesn't look good, it still reads as a good painting without it. Then I'll be able to just erase it, just sand it off because the clear will be there. And then I could just clear it and call it a day too. So that way I'm not taking a chance with the lettering. If I paint the lettering and it doesn't come out good and then, it's red on the base, then that's tough. So I'm not going to do that. But that's really what I got planned for this right now. And again, this belongs to Mike Stevenson. So as soon as it's done and cleared and prepped, I'll get it over to him and he'll be a happy turkey owner. So there we go. All right, what else do I got? That's all I got. So congratulations to Grouchy. I know he already took off, but if you want to win, you have a few more minutes left here at the end to get your suggestion in for next week. Next week is the last feed before the end of the year. Again, scheduling this week, I'm going to do Open Studio on Wednesday as planned. I know it's Christmas Eve, and I know a lot of people have plans, but in case you don't, you can join me on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock right here on YouTube, and we'll be doing more on the Tokyo painting. That's coming to a close, hopefully soon-ish. So we'll be moving on to the next Open Studio painting. Time lapse is on, so tomorrow morning you get your new time lapse for the Chicago Bears logo, and that's what I got. So if I don't see you and you celebrate the holidays, happy holidays to you guys and girls. And even if you don't, I hope you have a wonderful week and we're gearing up for the new year. So that's what I got. All right. I will catch you guys all next time. Thanks a lot. Hopefully I'm going to push the right button this time. Yeah, it just didn't really auto change the way it should. Like that smooth transition like this. It should have been like this. All right. Have a great night. I'll see you guys next week. That's much better.